is Michelle Goldman with AOC2 Project Week 4. Okay, so week 4 we continue the date planner but remove the delicate pattern, and which also means we had to remove the nib files and go to the storyboard. I started over because I couldn't really find a way to make my project from last week work just by adding in a storyboard file. It just kept giving me errors. So started over from scratch, and go to view controller, the header file. We've got our NS mutable string, which we have to have in. That's where we're passing in the updated event list that we'll eventually view on the main screen here, on the main view controller. And then I only have my on-save action here to be able to save this into, save it locally so I can close the app and pull it back up and be able to load the events that I've put in. Just to show you, delegate pattern is removed, no references to the delegation or synthesizing. We went to the segues instead. And again, nothing here with the delegation. Yep, so all of that's removed and using the segues instead with a storyboard. So that part actually was easy. There was one of the videos, which I think it was the past data back through segue, was very helpful. I mean, that was pretty direct and walked right through setting up the... Why that keeps going down there, why they don't like to be side by side. Okay, so that walked us right through setting everything up and being able to put in the two views and connecting them. Didn't have any problem with that. That was relatively easy. Let's see, I was just looking at the other requirements where we changed. Right, we changed the buttons to the labels where the swipe gestures were attached to those. Again, actually very, very simple, a lot easier than last week where that was all in code, and this was just a matter of dragging those and adding the actions, and very simple. Our save button, which we had before, we saw the save button and the IB action that attaches to that. And let's come in here. Trying to find the NS user defaults. That was another one of the changes that we had to make this week. There we go. Okay, so once you click the save button, NS user defaults is going to save that in the text view so that you can reopen the app and have those events come back up. I'm just going to go ahead and demonstrate here. So swipe right to add an event. Okay. So that we've got our event, our close keyboard. If we do not change the date, it should be able to just go ahead and put that in. Swipe left to close, and that is the current date and time. Pick up milk, and I did get the formatting with the help of Patricia to finally get that. Had the worst time with that last week. So we've got that in there, and we'll swipe again, and add another event in here. Close keyboard. We'll change the event day and time. Okay, and say, oops, we already had that closed, and then swipe left to close, and then here we are with the new date that was changed. And then if we don't put anything in here and we try to close, there's our alert to add the event. Okay, so that's going to force us to stay here on the add event screen and not allow us to go anywhere else. There's no other way to get out of here other than adding in the event. Okay, and there it is. So now we click save, and I'm going to close out of that, and then run that and open it back up. And there are the saved events. So you see where everything is working there. Let me just run through and make sure there's nothing else in the code worth mentioning. Here in the view did load, that's where that event list, that NS mutable string, that's where that's getting allocated, so that's going to run. We already talked about the NS user defaults to load the save events. This is where we use the storyboard segue. This is where we're creating the unwind segue, and that was connected to the gesture recognizer in the storyboard. That again was pretty simple, no issues there. And then the on save, when you click that, it's actually using NS user defaults to save the new events. I did have an issue with the key value. I didn't have the same syntax here that I had up here, and of course that will cause it to not work because they have to be exactly the same. So that's pretty important. And then our add event to view controller, close keyboard is same, change same, and there's our property for that NS string, for the NS mutable array. Just looking to see if there are any other requirements. I think that met all the requirements in our add event view controller implementation file. That was some trial code I forgot to take out of there. Did have some issues trying to, once we took the delegation out, trying to figure out what would go down here. This is in our should perform segue with identifier, and that was what we had to update and change. That's where our alert's going to come in if there's nothing entered into the text field. And then coming down here, taking out that if delegate is not nil, and then where we were passing it through back to the delegate here, I just was stuck and couldn't figure out what to put here. And I think I just got lucky and figured out that this is what we needed to have here, and it did work, so I'm grateful for that. And close keyboard, that's the same. On change is the same for the minimum date, and that's it.